What's good, YouTube? Man, we back with another reaction video. We about to react to how Prince transformed the music industry. All Prince fans, tap in. I'm still working on trying to see how I can react to the actual music videos, because we about to start getting into music video reactions. Because this was just a sports reaction channel, but this is just a reaction channel, period. Because we about to start doing everything, reacting to everything, watching everything. So make sure y'all tap in, make sure y'all subscribe. We're trying to get this channel to 10K subs. I just hit 5,000 subs last week. I'm at 5,175 subs. So make sure y'all tap in, hit that subscribe button, man. Let's get it.
How did Prince transform from the shortest guy on his high school basketball team to the larger-than-life rock, jazz, funk, soul icon who dominated charts and hearts for decades? This is the evolution of Prince. Before he crafted the soundtrack for Gotham's favorite vigilante, Prince Rogers Nelson knew his music was a calling that couldn't go unanswered. He was born January 7, 1958 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. His father, John Nelson, led a jazz group called the Prince Rogers Trio, and his mother, Mattie Shaw, was their lead singer. Prince was named after the group that brought his parents together and affectionately called Skipper at home. John and Mattie divorced when Prince was 10 years old and stopped speaking to one another, making his childhood hectic and unstable. The product of two musicians, Prince's talent was obvious. He grew up with the sounds of Santana, Larry Graham, and Fleetwood Mac. At 13 years old, Prince's first band, Grand Central, was formed. They'd perform at local venues and battle against groups such as the Morris Day-led The Time. Although he played basketball in high school, all 5'2" of him, he committed his energy to developing a successful music career because he felt music was the only thing he was truly good at. He learned to play dozens of instruments, using Stevie Wonder as early inspiration.
That's tough.
Back then, I used him as a role model in trying to play all the instruments and be very self-contained and keep my vision clear.
After making the move from the Midwest to Los Angeles, he scored a solo deal with Warner Brothers at the age of 17. His debut album, For You, was released 3 years later in 1978. Aside from the single Soft and Wet, which he co-wrote with producer Chris Moon, Prince penned every song, produced every track, and played all 27 instruments on the album.
That's crazy.
He released an album every year for the next 4 years. The projects were
A lot of
brief,
people say that's
but
why he
their
the
pull
best.
was powerful. Prince's distinctive voice was enchanting.
I think he might
his
be best,
sexual
though.
freedom was fascinating, and his artistry was upending the status quo.
Prince
1982's
should go, though.
1999 inspired Prince's first Grammy nominations for Best Male Vocal Performance in the pop and R&B categories. Now that the world knew his name, Prince was ascending to his throne to ensure they never forget it. In July of 1984, Prince made his big screen debut in Purple Rain.
Well, for starters, you have to purify yourself from the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
This my movie, man.
Hey, wait a minute, that's...
What?
That ain't Lake Minnetonka.
In the musical romantic drama, the kid and his band The Revolution are on the brink of success, but he's got a few demons, figuratively and literally, to overcome. The film made more than $63 million at the box office. The Purple Rain soundtrack, whose track list included Prince's first #1 single, When Doves Cry, dominated the Billboard 200 chart for 24 weeks and earned Prince 2 Golden Gramophones at the next year's Grammy Awards. The soundtrack was also nominated for a Golden Globe and won the Academy Award for Best Music Original Song Score. During the height of the soundtrack's success, Prince and the Revolution performed a free concert for 2,500 deaf students at Gallaudet University so they could feel his music. Prince cited self-consciousness and social
dope.
anxiety in his
Shout out
refusal
to
to join
Prince.
the 24-artist lineup for USA for Africa's We Are the World recording. Some interpreted his absence as arrogance, but loyal fans insisted that this was just another example of the very private musician being misunderstood. In 1986, Prince starred in his second film, Under the Cherry Moon. It wasn't as critically well received as Purple Rain, but it did deliver a sexy chart topper that would win him a Grammy and remain a favorite throughout Prince's career, Kiss.
Just want your extra time and your kiss.
His 1987
That's a hit
album,
right
Sign of
there.
the Times, which introduced classics such as Adore, would become a world-renowned favorite and go on to be inducted into the Grammys Hall of Fame 3 decades later. In the winter of 1988, director Tim Burton reached out to Prince to ask him to write, perform, and produce original songs for the soundtrack of his upcoming comic action flick, Batman. At first, the star was hesitant, but watching a rough cut of the film inspired him. The resulting work was released in June of 1989 and topped the Billboard 200 for 6 weeks. The next year,
That's dope.
Prince used the experiences he'd gained in the film industry thus far to write and direct his own feature film, Graffiti Bridge. He returned as the Kid to star in this unofficial Purple Rain sequel, but the project flopped. The film barely made more than $4 million domestically, shy of its $6 million budget. Prince was always an enigma, but his particular brand of artistry thrived in independence and commanded respect. Prince kept the company of many gorgeous women over the years, including his Purple Rain love interest, Apollonia Cotero, Madonna, Kim Basinger, and Carmen Electra, to name a few. However, the first time he'd say I do would be in 1996 to former backup singer Maite Garcia.
She was
The
bad
couple was
too.
together for 4 years, but the loss of 2 children, a son only days after being born, and the miscarriage of another child, took its toll and led to an emotional divorce. 1996 was also the year that Prince chose to depart from Warner Brothers. He felt he was a slave to the label, literally brandishing the word on his forehead during meetings. His first independent production was the 36-track album Emancipation, which debuted under the unpronounceable symbol with which he temporarily replaced the name that made him famous.
We had some issues that basically about ownership of the music and how often I was supposed to record and things like that. We got along otherwise, no creative issues whatsoever.
Although he was still regularly
Record
churning out
labels, man,
albums,
that should be
the
crazy.
already private artist became even harder to access over the years, preferring the confines of his Paisley Park mansion and the company of loved ones. His public appearances grew scarce. He won several Grammys in the mid-2000s for work such as Musicology, as well as another Oscar in 2007 for Best Original Song Motion Picture for his work on the animated comedy Happy Feet. In 2014, Prince and Warner Brothers reconciled 18 years after their very public split, allowing him to regain ownership of the catalog of timeless hits that defined his career. On April 15, 2016, Prince was headed home on his private plane when he suddenly fell unconscious, forcing the plane to make an emergency landing and him to be rushed to the hospital. He recovered from that incident, but was found unconscious again days later, this time in an elevator in his Minnesota mansion. Prince was pronounced dead the morning of April 21, 2016, in what was determined to be an accidental pain medication overdose. 39 albums, 20 platinum certifications,
Damn.
and more than 100 million records sold worldwide in his lifetime. Prince's legacy and influence is alive in the
man.
work of today's most talented artists, such as Janelle Monáe, Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars, and so many others who've infused his radical spirituality and passion into their work. Prince, the purple one, the beautiful one. His authenticity elevated the standards of the music industry and made it immeasurably more pleasurable to get through this thing called life.
Yeah, man, that
Thanks for
boy
watching
Prince
The
the
Evolution.
GOAT, man.
Got a favorite?
All Prince fans tap in, man. Like I said, I'm about to figure out how to do these music reaction videos, man. We about to start reacting to these boys' music videos. And, you know what I'm saying, doing reactions and breaking them down. And I'm gonna start doing y'all requests and stuff like that. But we trying to get the channel to 10K subs, man. But for now, man, we gonna find little videos, little music information videos. If it's a music video or music rapper that's like independent or anything, like, or artist that I'm not gonna get copyrighted or blocked, drop it in the comments, man. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe, stay tuned, and we out.